Heck yeah, guys, she's already looking solid enough to be impressive. Hey, what's going on, you Tubulus? EXO coming at you here, just enjoying this beautiful morning. The sun is so bright, man, I love it. Hope you're doing good too. Welcome back to the big bass build. We're in the process of building one of the biggest sound systems in the neighborhood, so if you love loud bass and car audio, you came to the right place. In our last episode, we filled up the hollow braces for the sub baffle and luckily removed all the unwanted noise they made. Even though the frequency was way outside the bass spectrum, I still think the improvements help for deadening, especially when driving down dirt or gravel roads, like when small pebbles spring up from the tire and hit the underbody. For some strange reason, every walled-off vehicle I've ever owned makes those noises sound like they're right behind your head. So anything to help that is definitely a plus. Figured today, though, we could work more on the subwoofer enclosure, but good thing I stopped to really think about it. Was about to start the bottom part of the rear port and realized I'm making a mistake. If I install the port right now, I'd be in for a heck of a time when painting finally comes. It's already gonna be freaking huge back here. I'd literally be blocking the way for any decent clearance, leaving me all crinked up inside. My head would probably fall off after the first coat. So to save my vertebrae, I think it's best to attack the underside with some finish work now. Sanding surfaces, filling screw holes, rolling primer, and who knows, maybe even find a good looking color scheme by the end of all this. I'll need your help though, so without further ado, let's get these holes filled. When it comes to stuff like this, you can probably tell that I like to go a little proud on the filler. At first, I really cram it in there with a hard swipe against the wood, but then I go over it once more with a light swipe just above it so it has more material hover in there. The sander will take care of all the rest and it should be really flat in the end. Coming down to the last ones underneath, fellas. Even added some filler on the dents and dings to really flatten it out. But now I'm getting kind of sidetracked thinking about something else entirely. You guys made some good points last time while filling these bad boys, the braces here, and I am beyond curious now. Did the air inside stay trapped? Well, we're about to find out. I've got a great idea for a quick test station, so let's take a back break on this and go uncover a fun little mystery, shall we? So here's the situation in better detail. Even though the results from filling were already super solid, you guys let me know that the air pressure inside the pipe could possibly be affecting the fill factor. That is without a second breather hole. So this real size test station should reveal what we couldn't see last time. I mean, I'm aiming for a fully filled pipe here, but let's see how everything behaves with no breather hole, fully capped off on both ends, just like we did last time. Fingers crossed, man, because we've already done them all. Wow, this looks so dang cool. It's not getting trapped at all. It's running right down to the bottom. This is great. It's just settling right down at the bottom perfectly. It runs right down the walls. Man, I couldn't ask for anything better than that. So it looks like those explosions are probably from going too fast, too quick, because it always ends up settling down at the bottom regardless. And I should mention, this whole time you can hear it burping around the nozzle, so the air is escaping. This is awesome. All right, we are officially at the top. We are over the hole. Now, I think, this is my theory, if I keep squirting it, I should be able to go above this hole. And that's when, remember I was seeing it kind of ooze out with my thumb? I think that's the sign of it being full. So we're already fully filled up. I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze even more and hopefully fill this tiny gap at the top. Because that's what I hypothesized was all of that secondary explosions. Not the really big ones, but the final ones. Yep, there we go. So now it can't take any more. So now when I pull this out, it should shoot pretty fast. Yeah, see? See how it basically exploded out on there? So that's what was happening. We were able to get a fully filled tube, and that last little, I don't know, ½ inch wants to really pour out. And if you add enough pressure, it will really pour out. So in conclusion, looks like this here sealant is a tad too runny to really get trapped midway. Either that or moving the nozzle around introduced enough air for it to breathe. Not sure, but man, do I feel better. Glad I went slow on that part, letting it gurgle and purge. It's probably why it works so well. Not too shabby. Alright, well, now while I finish up sanding, I really want to see what you guys think about this. I got a great idea to illustrate my next dilemma. To white or not to white? That is the question. It looks so dang nice, but goodness gracious, does it play tricks on your camera when you're trying to film? For being one of the most beautiful colors around subs, white sure does make it hard to film. But let me know if you notice when the camera kind of blows out the whites on this next clip of Dylan's rig shining bright.
My name is Dylan Estes. I have two of the Team Rockford Blacktop 18s. It's a 6th order that I built. A big pain in the right now though is the subs are built for a 4th order. The motors are super strong, super soft and weak suspension. So I was trying to gain a little bit of low end and I gained a super bit of high end. It's just, they're the exact opposite of what my box needs. I'm rocking a stock oil right now, which is why I'm charging so
Hunter Martin did some clamping out there and we saw it doing about 40 amps at full draw.
The car's been a complete mess. I had to bolt the roof back together. The firewall's ripped, the glass is cracked and all that stuff. So newer cars are not good for bass at all. I want you to hear it. lower too.
Oh yeah,
But
it
yeah.
almost felt like a beat frequency of like 2 hertz. It was like whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, when you mix 2 frequencies together that are close together, you'll get that.
I only play Max and stuff too. Max is the guy for that. You know Max Mirage, right? Maximum bass music.
Yeah, he does beat frequencies.
Yeah, stuff like that. He's great for all the stuff that I play. You're gonna know exactly what I mean when you hear it. How they're literally full excursion at all times, like under 30, and that's like exactly what I don't want them to do. You know.
To kind of reiterate what he's talking about, like a lot of people wonder what the difference is between high sensitivity home audio subs and car audio subs, and he's kind of illustrating that right now with his soft, very soft suspension and high motor force instead of very stiff car audio like soft parts. He's dealing with something probably a little more sensitive. You could probably throw less power and move them.
100%.
Yeah, and still move them up to their full
Matter
stroke.
of fact, I just got a new amp. I got a 6500 at Twisted Sounds, and I had a 3500, and I'm clamping the exact same power, and it sounds like at least 2 or 3 dB louder.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot. Just them motors alone are doing a lot of work.
All right, we're gonna switch it up a little bit.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, they are, but you can tell they have lots of control.
Yeah.
They really do.
I went super low on port area in the rear too to try to combat that a little bit. I built the bottom chamber a lot bigger, and I shrunk it about 3 cubes last night to try to bring it back a little bit. The rear's tuning is 25 and the front's 54.
Man, I sure do love me some white walls, but did anyone else notice how it kind of messes with the camera? Sometimes the cones were too dark, other times the background was totally blown out. I hate it when that happens. Dylan's setup had plenty of good lighting, but the camera just had a mind of its own. It really makes me wonder what color is best to avoid those hot spots with exposure. Is it brown? Is it gray? Maybe a deep blue? I don't freaking know, but either way, we'll get to preview the white because the primer is coming up next. Actually, no it's not. Can't be laying primer right now because I forgot a few steps. Here's where things start to get interesting. If I went through all the trouble to make these braces nice and neat, I should probably paint them before making a huge mess with overspray, especially black. Last thing I want to do is ruin a good coat of primer, so that meant masking. A whole lot of masking. Spent probably 4 hours going around with tape and paper covering up all the wood. Some strips had a hard time sticking too. The most important part was getting super close lines to the metal angle iron, square tubing, and base plates. What needed to happen next, however, really took some patience. In order to paint the vertical braces, each row needed to be done and dried separately. I almost lost it on this one, fellas. Because the space is so crammed, the second you get in there with the can spraying 360, you end up brushing and touching up against all the ones behind you. Your elbows, your back, your feet, everything. It just completely ruins it. So for 3 days straight, I would finish a row, bake the enclosure at high heat with a space heater, finish a row, bake the enclosure. It took a whole lot of time, but I was able to get a pretty nice finish on all those braces. I sprayed 3 coats on just about everything that needed it, including the previously welded spots that were also bare metal. On top of that, I really wanted to make sure all the screw heads stayed clean. That meant finding a way to cover each screw without having to cut around each one with tape. That would have taken ages. So I tried little circular gemstones, googly eyes, but eventually settled on mini felt pads because they were the tallest and easiest to pry off. It did take quite a long time to center each pad over the screws, but boy did it make things pop. The only downside was I'd say about 50% of them stuck a little firmer than expected with this filmy residue. That definitely ate up some time too. I'll tell ya, once that masking came off, the layout just sprang to life. Even without primer on the wood, I was still all about it. Base plates kept their shapes on the corners, no overspray on the nice clean wood. The next step though closely competes for the worst yet, another round of masking. This time around, even more meticulous and close into the corners. I'd go in there with the tape so dang tight, and if it didn't line up straight the whole way across, I'd just rip her down and do it again. Unlike the last round of taping, this was actually the make or break batch. The accuracy of these lines would determine the overall sharpness of the seams. That's ultimately why I spent so much time cutting in the details with a razor. I wanted a definitive separation between the steel and wood. After I was confident enough in the tape job, I was finally ready to roll some primer. Now fast forward 2 coats of kills and the only thing bare is the floor. Another deliberate move to avoid crawling over it with my shoes and stuff, but what a sight that white can be, huh? Looks so dang classy. However, I'm pretty sure I found my color. Since my subwoofers are already gloss white, I think a deep smoke gray would be an awesome contrast. Let's get that oil-based rolling. Yep, I'm a big fan of that gray, you guys. Was super thrilled with how the second coat went on. Nice and thick, really gives that industrial feel. I dipped into the paint probably every 6 inches like you saw. Foam rollers tend to spit up these annoying bubbles if you get too dry. Plus, going heavy on the second coat meant I couldn't simply pull off the tape anymore. Each seam and edge needed to be cut with a razor blade because the transitions were so coated and hardening by the minute. After a good chunk of time edging the entire tape job, the last of the masking could finally come off. at this point, things were coming along, but who else noticed how the tape pulled up my paint in some spots? Mainly just the square tubing where I really pressed her down, but there were 2 other spots where the gray paint got stuck to the tape too. Nothing a little touch-up can't fix though. But you've seen enough painting. I'll go in with some oil-based pens and detail brushes. So in the meantime, I'd love to show you something that really meant a lot to me. My sister sent over a surprise little birthday gift, and she's just too funny. You gotta see this. All right, so here we are. I can't quite tell if that's like a hidden lithium sticker. I got a little birthday present here from my sister, and that's really strange. That doesn't happen every year. And she said, man, you gotta check this out on video. You might wanna make a video about this and post it onto YouTube? What? Let's see what is inside this box. I'm so curious. It's light as a feather. She knows that I'm into bass, and if she wants it to go online, that makes me think it's like about bass. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Did you have that when you were little? Did you find an OG?
Whoa. That was not what I was expecting whatsoever. This is bringing this buckle right here, these suspenders and this zipper. I thought these were real pockets when I was a kid. Oh my, the head, the f***ing head. That's the head. Where did she find this? That is crazy. This probably does not mean to. I wonder if anyone else had this as a kid. Maybe it'll be nostalgic for multiple people. No, that's not a date code. Dang it. It's not bass at all. It's Disney Mickey. I had a Disney blanket, a Disney tent. I was a freaking Disney kid. I saw this mother on Macari and had to order him for you. I'll never forget that day at the flea market. Happy birthday, man. I miss you and love you so much. Hope you had a wonderful birthday. Happy 34th birthday. I still want to throw this up online, because what if someone else had this same thing and we can kind of share that together, because this is old. Sister EXO coming through in the clutch with some nostalgia. I'd like to include all of those old videos that remind us of all those good times down in the description. Swimming, jumping jack, backflips, freaking getting jacked, mushroom hunting, flipping. Such good times. I love my family and especially my sister. Thank you, Danielle. This is awesome, guys. Freaking unexpected. What the heck? Heck yeah, guys, got the first coat of oil base down on the floor, and she's already looking solid enough to be impressive. I'm really glad I went with this color. Oil-based paint's kind of finicky though, so I gotta give it a long time before getting my body weight back in there. I'm gonna give it a whole 2 weeks to fully cure. You know, I went on really thick, so I'm gonna do justice. It's been about 3/4 of a can so far. So I think between the top and bottom, if we go with this same color, it should be a whole 2 gallons. That's a heck of a lot of paint right there. But I'm glad I at least got this far in the meantime, because boy, I'll tell you, I was feeling sick during all this. Holy smokes. I don't know if you could tell during some of those voiceovers, I was just so congested. I'd come out here and work as hard as I could, freaking for like 2 weeks straight, so much phlegm demulus. Oh, absolutely disgusting. But I'm feeling a lot better now, especially looking at all this basehead madness. And if it wasn't for this thing keeping me cheered up and going strong, this next surprise definitely kept me smiling on the way to the shop one night.
What are you doing up there? What are you doing? You okay?
This sweet little cat showed up making so much noise, meowing like a machine. Probably needed some help, so I reached out a little bit, got him some food, and what a sweet little fella.
I'm your friend. It's okay. Have some food. Here you go.
Need a little help? I'll give you a little help. You're a good looking fella. Hung out with him for a while, gave him some encouraging words, pulled off like 20 ticks, and by the time he was done eating, his attitude completely changed. What a lovable little guy.
Oh my God. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's loving on me. What a sweet boy.
Good one. I don't know, we'll see what happens here. The next morning, we introduced him to our cat, Moncrief, and they don't really seem to mind each other. I think it'll be a cool little budding friendship. So we went ahead and named him Norfleet, a traveling nomad from the north. We're gonna get him all checked up with the vet, make sure that he's in tip-top shape, having a nice, happy, and healthy life. I just love animals too much. We gotta give this guy a nice chance. We checked in with all of our neighbors, and no one seems to know who he is, so he's officially our new cat. Be on the lookout for good old Norfleet hanging out with the posse, doing basehead activities. And until the next video, this is EXO signing out. Did a lot of great detail work in this video. Took a heck of a lot longer than you may think it did. Just that one part, man, freaking 4 days on the praises. Oh man, the things you do for bass, but it's all well worth it. And if you're into bass and car audio, be sure to use your EXO coupon code over at Showtime Electronics. We got everything that you'd want, from the big guy stuff down to the entry level. I will talk to you in the next video when we start our port. Now that I did all the painting, we won't have to worry about that, and we'll cover it up for good. I'll talk to you then. This is EXO signing out.